We should play a store. Hey nerds, Jared Bear here. Bear with me just for a second. Welcome into the channel. Entertain this thought. I'm about to walk you through my concept, my fan theory about how God of War Ragnarok should start. And it's going to be a whole lot kind of reminiscent of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. And you'll know why once we get to that part. So I'm going to paint the picture. This is how I think the game should start. We're going to start in Asgard. We're going to play, or not play, but we're going to have the point of view of one of Odin's ravens. Maybe his last two ravens left being his trusty ones. Hunnun and Munnin, if I'm saying that correctly. I don't know how to pronounce it. A lot of weird names.
Hunnun and Munnin.
We're going to be in the POV of one of those birds, with the other one flying slightly in front of us. They can be their green color from the last game, or they can be the traditional black colors. Either way is fine with me. So we're going to have them in that point of view. Think of it like as the GoPro on the Eagle videos. So we see the bird in front of us and we're flying, right? Maybe we can even control the camera a little bit, swooping down, and we're in Asgard. And maybe we see characters we don't know who they are yet, like a Heimdall or some other people frolicking about. I can't think of too many names. But we see the Rainbow Bridge. Maybe we fly along the Rainbow Bridge because that is in Norse mythology, as in the MCU. It's just the MCU's Asgard is the only thing in my brain. It's the only thing I have reference to outside of what I've read in books and whatnot. So we're flying across that, and these two ravens have one destination, and it's to come to a new character that hasn't been introduced at all, really, except for a shadowy figure in a trailer. That being the All-Father himself, Odin. One of the birds, our bird, our POV, will land on the arm of his chair, maybe a little bit off on the ways, as the other bird lands on his shoulder. This bird indistinctly gives him this information. Maybe something Odin already knew, but he gets up in a panic and a rush, with fluster on his face. Walks. It could be a quick walk. It could be a slow walk. Maybe we take our time following him as the opening credits start to play, as we go into a big hall area, right? Or they can do a unique camera cut, because we are sticking in the one-shot traditional sense, like the last game. And one of the birds flies down on the table, being us, and now we're looking up at a big, thick, fat, happy Thor. His red hair matted, his belly on the table. He's drinking a big wooden glass of mead. Whatever those things, I can't think of the name of those right now. He's taking a big bite out of a big-ass turkey leg or whatever wild boar he's killed. And we hear distinctly Odin tell his son Thor that his two sons, Magni and Modi, along with his half-brother Balder, have been murdered by some double-stunted, bald-headed, candy-ass son of a bitch named Kratos. He's been murdered by a stranger, if you will, pun intended, from a far-off land. Thor immediately, frustrated, angry, no time for grief, lifts both hands up, brings them down onto the table, breaking and crashing it below his two ham-hock fists. He stands, walks, eyes down, walks to his father, looks him eye to eye. I don't know their size comparison. Looks him eye to eye, basically, practically begging the All-Father to let him go handle this situation. Odin tries to let him know that these chain of events have triggered Fimbulwinter, that Ragnarok is upon us. And all Thor can think about is wanting to go kill Kratos. I think at this point, having a very reckless, frustrated, temperamental Thor would be a great way to introduce his character. Kind of drunk and dullard at this point, as Mimir called him. Have him, and this is where Star Wars The Force Unleashed comes in, because just like that opening scene with Darth Vader, Thor should teleport, whether it be the Bifrost or his own means of transportations, to any of these other 9 realms and lay waste. Now, we could kill something like Draugrs or some of the bigger trolls, but even higher class enemies that we had struggled with in the first game should be a breeze. One-hitting, two-hitting, anything, just like Darth Vader did at the start of The Force Unleashed. Thor running through and murdering everything in sight. Hell, we can even go to hell and kill that big-ass bird. What's that matter at this point? Ragnarok's upon us. Him blowing through everything, you know what that does? As the player, for us controlling that, it gives us an extra, like, oh shit level moment to it, and it makes the boss fight, it just makes Thor feel 10 times more powerful. And it makes that ultimate boss fight, once we finally get there, the true boss fight between Kratos and Thor, feel even more immensely important. Another white knuckle grip moment. It should be a Sigrun from the Valkyrie Queen level difficulty fight out the gates. Even on one of the easier difficulties, higher difficulties, Thor should not be a pushover. It should be an absolute brawl. It should go down as one of the greatest boss fights in gaming history. I just don't see how it couldn't with such two big names. And I think putting the expectation for it to be that level is fucking wild and a little ludicrous. But move, bitch, get out the way. It's just kind of how we have to deal with it. I think also, too, it gives people who are unfamiliar with the Nordic version of Thor a sense to be like, oh, shit, that's not Chris Hemsworth. I'm murdering people. That level alone would just, I mean, come on, bro. Come the fuck on. And again, in that maxed out Mjolnir, everything just pow, 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 doing all these abilities until eventually Kratos kills Thor. We get Mjolnir and we go kill Odin. That's just how I have it planned out in my head. There's neither here nor there. I just want to play as Thor, I think. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I don't think you've ever been able to play as any other character within the God of War games. I imagine we probably will play as Atreus at some point in this game. But just to be able to have that opening scene, and one of my thought processes was to give Atreus / spoilers, click away, Loki an extra ability would be to give him a Worgen ability, a Warg ability to take over one of the Odin's ravens or to shape or something along those lines. He's seeing what the raven's seeing, so now Atreus knows that Thor is pissed. And he'd be like, you remember the guy we saw in our dreams? Like, he's blah, 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 he's coming, yada, yada. Not as lame or as corny as what I just said, but they could spin that into a cool way if Atreus did have a power like that. That's where I was getting with the POV of the bird or whatever. Doesn't have to go down that way. It can literally be a single shot camera around Thor, and we can start right there. Because to be honest, I don't think that scene where Thor shows up in God of War 2018 is where we're going to pick up with their fight. I think that's too easy. I think that was just a dream. But if they do, a sick way you can transition from playing as Thor to Kratos within the one shot, right? You have Thor land, because we were almost kind of in Thor's POV for a second. We're just behind his hip looking at Kratos and Atreus outside their cabin. You can have that same shot overhead. You can lower to Mjolnir, and then you can have the camera pan out to both of them standing across from each other and go right behind Kratos' shoulder. And now we're in the same motion, and now they can get into the fight scene. That'd be a sick ass way to do it if they pick up with that same ending cinematic. I think that'd be pretty sick. Now, November 9th is right around the corner. Okay, God of War Ragnarok is coming. Ragnarok is coming, the end of days. And I've said this question multiple times already. If we kill Thor, right? We know the two wolves have to chase the sun and the moon. Odin has to get eaten by Fenrir. We know the chain of events. If we kill Thor and we wield Mjolnir, do we now have to fight the world serpent? And if so, how does Loki feel about that? How does Atreus feel about us fighting his child? How does his wife feel about it? If they go that route. Is Hel in the game? Is Heimdall in the game? Where is his wife? Is she still alive somewhere? If Tyr's still alive, is she still alive? Is there time traveling? There's a lot of questions to take in and to absorb. Will we dual wield the Leviathan axe and Mjolnir and switch back and forth between the blades of chaos? Do we need Mjolnir to kill Odin? I have a lot of questions, and there's not enough time to get to all of them, but it'll be here before we know it. Kratos versus Thor, again, should go down as one of the greatest boss fights of all time. It's a lot to take in. We will be playing this game on Twitch, twitch.tv/JaredBearVII. You can come check it out. I won't be interacting with chat too much while I'm playing the game, but the full Let's Play will be over on Jared Bear Plays, and we'll have clips and whatnot here. I'm out. Links and everything will be in the description box down below. Playlist will be up on screen. As always, check back for gameplays, commentaries, news, and updates. Later, nerds.